What do you think William Ruto can do to Uhuru Kenyatta and the Kenyatta family, or even Moi family? What do you think he can do to them? Do you think he can arrest them? Do you think Ruto can arrest Gideon Moi or even Uhuru Kenyatta? Do you think he can close their businesses? Do you think he can impose the alleged taxes talking about on them? If you ask me, there is nothing which William Ruto can do to Uhuru. There is nothing he can do to the Moi family. He can only engage in what he is currently engaging in, drama. Uhuru Kenyatta is entitled to security. And William Ruto, as the President of the Republic of Kenya, will ensure that Uhuru Kenyatta is protected. But what next for Uhuru Kenyatta after William Samoei Arap Ruto decided to scale down, or in quotes, withdraw his security and that of the mother? Because remember, William Ruto is clearly on a mission. He's trying to come up with the issue of tax, some 1960-something tax on Uhuru Kenyatta. For me, that was just a response to the debate which had gained traction in the country. And for me, I give Ruto credit. The truth is, William Ruto had already been branded Sakayo because he was constantly imposing taxes on Kenyans. So Raila Odinga started this campaign of asking his supporters not to pay those taxes and asking Ruto to stop any further taxation. So William Ruto found an opportunity and he brought the issue of lazima walipe ushuru. But what next for Uhuru, if you ask me? For me, Uhuru Kenyatta has very limited options as we speak. The first thing he can do right now is to write a letter to KRA, Kenya Revenue Authority, to issue him with all his tax arrears. Uhuru Kenyatta is a Kenyan. He has an ID. He has a PIN number. He can ask KRA formally and make it public. Formally write a letter to KRA. Ask KRA that I am Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president of the Republic of Kenya, a Kenyan citizen, ID number blah blah, PIN number blah blah. I'd want to know my tax arrears. If you can facilitate that, please, I'll really appreciate. Then KRA, because he has a right to information, KRA will then issue him with tax arrears so that he can know. Because one thing I know for sure is that there is no way you can become the president of the Republic of Kenya without meeting certain conditions. One of the conditions you'll need before contesting for the presidency is that you must have clearance certificate from KRA. Uhuru Kenyatta contested in 2013, he was cleared. He contested in 2017, he was cleared. So after getting those arrears, KRA will tell him, as far as we are concerned, you don't have any arrears, or as far as we are concerned, you have this much. Then he can now come to the public and tell them that I wrote a letter to KRA. Now this is what they have given me. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay. Just the same way his bank, NCBA, has done, which I think is perfectly in order. But for me, if I were that bank, I would not allow myself to be part of discussion in the country. I'd just ask KRA to give me the account number, pay the amount, then the case will proceed. If the case rules in my favor, then you'll seek for a refund. Remember the NCBA bank, which belongs to Uhuru Kenyatta family, they were given some waiver, I think 350 million. And in business, those waivers are normally normal, as long as laws are followed. So I think there's a case in court which will determine whether they ought to have received it or not. And the bank wrote a letter today saying they will be able to pay if the court found that they ought to have paid. So Uhuru should just ask KRA to issue him with tax arrears for all his companies, so that if there's anything, he can deal with it. Because if they don't deal with it now, we'll haunt them in the future. So that's number one. Number two, this is now the time for Uhuru Kenyatta to actively participate in politics. Uhuru Kenyatta is being punished, in quotes, for supporting Raila Odinga and even sponsoring the alleged rallies, which Raila Odinga has consistently hosted for over 20 years now. So for me, if I were Uhuru, Next weekend, or I'll just relax, let Magoha be buried. Then now I start participating in politics actively. Uhuru Kenyatta was actually misadvised by his supporters, by his advisors ahead of the 2017 election, that if he participated in politics, he will spoil his name, he's a statesman. A statesman whose name is being dragged. He tried being a statesman. The name is being dragged everywhere. In the world today, the headlines are that Uhuru Kenyatta family is under probe of attacks. So it's the moment. This is the time now for Uhuru to decide to join politics, start attending rallies, and answer Ruto, because Ruto is answering Uhuru in the rallies. Let Uhuru also go out and start answering him. This is the moment. If there's, because they're saying if Uhuru participates in politics, then the privileges they're going to take. Raila Odinga never got these privileges, and he survived. Yeah, Kalonzo never got the privileges. They denied him his benefits. The good thing with this country is that it's a country of laws. One day, all those benefits will be refunded. If anything, Uhuru has enough money. He's one of the richest people. So he can start participating in politics just for the purposes of provoking Ruto and Kenya Kwanza, if I were him. The third thing I would do if I were Uhuru Kenyatta is now this is the right opportunity to win back the support of the mountain. Let's agree that as much as the mountain never voted for Uhuru, in quotes, there is no way they can allow Uhuru and the family to be subjected to humiliation. Uhuru Kenyatta's mother can go attend a funeral and ask the mourners, yearly kufanya kosa gani, for his security to be withdrawn, because he's a former first lady. The constitution stipulates that he's entitled to a security. He can even say that he was in traffic. Then the driver was called, and the guys insisted that the driver had to leave, and the security. So which meant she was left there alone. Then they can now embark on that sympathy. The community will sympathize with them. I've been reading comments online. There are Kikuyus who are supporting Ruto, but there are those who are now a bit hesitant to the way this issue is being approached. And that's why you are even seeing that since the issues came up now strongly, even the vocal members of parliament from the mountain, they are trying to shut up their mouths. So this is the moment. The fourth thing, if our Uhuru will do, is to counter Ruto by exposing William Ruto dirty dealings. William Ruto funded his campaign single-handedly. He's one of the richest people in the country. Which company is he running? How much are they generating? Uhuru Kenyatta, being a former president, means he had access to all these informations. If the William Ruto was engaging in some underhand deals, Uhuru Kenyatta understands them, all of them. So this is the moment, if I were him, to respond to Ruto by unleashing, exposing some of the underhand dealing. That is the only way. Have you ever wondered why, after Jacaranda, William Ruto and his brigades now shifted their attention from Raila to Uhuru? Because Raila Odinga started now responding to Uhuru. Previously, to Ruto. Previously, Ruto would attack Raila Odinga, he would not respond. But from Jacaranda, Jacaranda and then from Kamkunji, it is clear that Raila is actually responding to Ruto. If Ruto says something which is not true, he responds. He challenges Ruto. The other day he told Ruto, please don't do this. You should not be talking about political assassination. That's when Ruto stopped that and now engaged in tax. So I'll be waiting to see Raila Odinga's rally in Kibra and see what he has, especially on the issue of tax and on the issue of political exemptions of tax, which is in our constitution. So Uhuru should now, this is the time for him to start exposing William Ruto's dirty dealings, if you want to play politics. Otherwise, he can choose the way he has chosen, just to remain silent. Let these guys talk and talk and talk. Yeah. Number 5, the fifth thing he can do is just to monitor what is William Ruto's game plan. They've talked of tax evasion, they've taken my security, you know, what are they planning? Just monitor. Then at the appropriate time, launch counter attack. And lastly, propaganda. You know, William Ruto became the president of the Republic of Kenya because of propaganda. William Ruto is known to thrive in propaganda. What about Uhuru Kenyatta? How did Uhuru Kenyatta manage to convince the Kikuyus that Raila Odinga is a devil? To an extent that he was now trying to tell them that Raila Odinga is not a devil, but they could not believe. He employed the services of Cambridge Analytica. What stops Uhuru Kenyatta from going to the bank, take just 0.1% of his shares from NCBA, give Cambridge Analytica company something like that, just to focus on William Ruto, the propaganda aspect, because he is a former president. He has access to some information. Then just propaganda. I don't know what you think. What do you think Uhuru Kenyatta can do? For me, those are the only options. Otherwise, if he's not careful, William Ruto is going to deal with him perpendicularly. And you see the disadvantage Uhuru has is that he's perceived not to have supporters. There is no way you would expect the Luo community to go and defend Uhuru Kenyatta in the streets when the Kikuyus will be complaining about their businesses. But you can expect the Luos to turn up in large numbers if Raila was to be subjected to this kind of embarrassment. That's the truth. So Uhuru is in a very awkward situation, and William Ruto understands this. He can't go for Raila, but he can easily go for Uhuru Kenyatta because he has been dumped by the Kikuyus. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day.